Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Leadoff Spot. I'm Doug Williams. Today we're talking Blue Jays and Yankees with Sportsnet Blue Jays reporter Barry Davis. Barry, thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Doug.
First question for you. This is potentially a very big series for both of these teams. They're kind of battling it out for second place, but the Red Sox and the Rays are kind of on their tails and going into the trade deadline. If either of these teams sweeps this series, is this a potentially season-changing series? I
think it's more season-changing for the team that would get swept rather than the team that does the sweeping. There's just so much baseball to play, and there's so many teams in the mix. The key is you want to stay in the mix. And, for example, the Yankees could sweep the Blue Jays, and that could bury the Jays, but then the Yankees still have to worry about Baltimore and the surging Rays and Red Sox. So I think that the main thing, regardless of whether you're the Jays or you're the Yankees, you just don't want to get swept. And that's going to be easier said than done for the Jays, who have now lost an unbelievable 16 straight games at Yankee Stadium. And it's just unheard of. You would think at some point you would win a game there, but for some reason the Jays just cannot figure out how to win at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, you almost get the sense that at this point it's like a mental lapse that they're having. I don't really understand it either. The Yankees are going to see Mark Buehrle in this series, Barry. And I remember, at the beginning of June, people thought maybe he was going to be the AL All-Star Game starter. He's kind of fallen apart. What's different with Mark Buehrle now?
Well, okay, if you look at his last start, then I would say the word fall apart because that was probably his worst start in a while. However, before that, he's pitched pretty much as well as he had earlier in the season, but was just not getting any run support at all. And there are other factors, too. Mark Buehrle's a guy that pitches to contact, and when balls are hit at guys and he's able to get plays made behind him, then it makes things look better. When he was 10-1, he wasn't jumping up and down saying, I'm going to win 21 games this year. He was saying, I'm very fortunate to be where I am right now, and I know the numbers will eventually even themselves out. Mark Buehrle's a guy that wins 12 to 14 games every year. He pitches 200 innings every year and has an ERA in the high threes or low fours every year. So what he was doing early in the season was pretty crazy. I don't think anyone expected him to be putting up the numbers he has. I think he's pitched much better than what his record indicates since that 10-1 start.
I have to ask, no Laurie, no Lind, no Encarnacion. Lots of injuries in this Blue Jays lineup. The Yankees ace, Hiroki Kuroda, is going to face that lineup. Is this something that the Yankees pitchers should be licking their chops to face? Is this a lineup that isn't scoring runs, or are they kind of doing their best to make the most of it?
Well, when you look at the top of the lineup, and Jose Reyes is now hitting as well as he has in a long time. Melky Cabrera's got himself into a good groove. Jose Bautista seems to be breaking out of a slump that he was in, and it went back for a good 3 weeks, just trying to get that power back. And he's been. And what's happened, Doug, is when you have so many guys out of the lineup, the guys that are still there end up pushing and trying to do too much, and they end up getting out of whatever comfort zone they're in. But the Jays have had a little more production from those three guys. Gianna Navarro has chipped in. But, yeah, there's definitely a significant fall-off after that. Juan Francisco is a guy that they picked up early in the season off waivers and hoping to catch lightning in a bottle, and he was doing that. He was hitting home runs like nobody's business. But as soon as pitchers started to figure out that he cannot, will not, and has no desire to learn how to hit anything that's a breaking pitch, he became a very easy strikeout victim.
So the Yankees have already made one move. They acquired Chase Headley from the Padres. I know you're a Blue Jays guy, but I'll ask you for both teams. What do you think they're going to do, or what do you think they need to do as the trade deadline approaches?
Well, I mean, there was a time early in the season where a starting pitcher was at the top of the Blue Jays list, and then as the rotation started to work itself out, and Marcus Stroman was called up and has become just a terrific young pitcher for the Jays, and the shift focus to maybe trying to add an infielder or an outfielder. Look, at this point, they just need to improve wherever they can. They are going to get a number of injured players back, probably in less than 2 weeks, and that will be a huge bonus for them. They've just recalled their top pitching prospect in Aaron Sanchez, and whether or not he's going to be here as a piece for the team for the rest of the season or a piece that will be involved in a trade, any team that the Blue Jays have spoken to regarding a trade, the first name that comes up from the opposing teams is, we want Aaron Sanchez. So this may be a great chance for him to be showcased to the other teams to see what they're going to get. But at this point, I think the Jays just need help in any direction possible. And you know the way the Yankees are. I mean, they'll add whatever pieces they can get, and they'll get pieces that some people are a little surprised, and they somehow find to find to get at the most of them when they put those pinstripes on.
Well, I think that's something that both teams kind of have in common is sometimes the best trades you can make are the guys you're going to get back from injury. So it's going to be an interesting few weeks for both teams. We'll just have to see what happens. That's going to do it for this leadoff spot. Barry, thanks so much for coming on. I'm Doug Williams, and we'll see you next time, everybody.